47,000 soldiers stand on a plain near modern-day Iraq. Behind them, absolutely nothing. No walls, no rivers, no rocks, just open ground stretching endlessly in every direction. Facing them across this barren expanse, 250,000 men. Some ancient sources claim 1 million. The gap between the two armies looks like the gap between a candle flame and the sun. Subscribe right now because what happens next is how empires die. This is Gaugamela, October 1st, 331 BC. And what happens in the next few hours will obliterate an empire that has ruled the known world for 200 years. The man commanding those 47,000 is 25 years old. His name is Alexander. History will remember him as the Great. But right now, standing here watching that horizon darken with Persian soldiers, he's just a kid who has made a terrible gamble. The man opposite him is Darius III, King of Kings, ruler of the Persian Empire. He controls territory stretching from Egypt to India. His treasury is bottomless. His reputation is absolute. And right now, Darius believes he has already won. The math is simple. 5-to-1 odds. Maybe more. All he has to do is not lose. But Darius has made a critical mistake. He has given Alexander exactly what Alexander wants. An open field. See, for the past 3 years, Alexander has been chasing Darius across the Levant and Mesopotamia. Darius has run. Darius has hidden behind geography. But here, at Gaugamela, Darius finally stops running. He chooses this plain because he believes his numbers will crush Alexander like an ant beneath a boot heel. What Darius doesn't understand is that Alexander isn't an ant. He's a viper, and Darius has just walked directly onto a scale to be weighed against death itself. The Persian army arranges itself in the traditional way. It's a formation designed to impress, to terrify. Thousands of cavalry ride the flanks. The center bristles with infantry. And here's the nightmare that keeps Darius confident. Scythed chariots. Hundreds of them. They're wheeled weapons, chariots with razor-sharp blades spinning from the axles, designed to carve through infantry formations like wheat before a scythe. These chariots are the Persian ace, the ultimate weapon. No formation can withstand them. No general has ever found a counter to them, except one. Alexander arrives at the battlefield before dawn. The sun is still bleeding red across the horizon. The ground beneath the Macedonian army's feet has been leveled. Darius made sure of it. He spent weeks preparing this terrain. Every rock removed, every dip filled in. Perfect ground for chariots. Perfect ground for cavalry. Perfect ground for the overwhelming numerical advantage to matter. Perfect ground, Darius believed, to erase the legend of this Macedonian boy. Alexander studies the field with the intensity of a chess player staring at a board where all the pieces are already in place. His generals wait. His soldiers wait. Thousands of eyes on him. And Alexander, this brilliant, reckless 19-year-old mind trapped in a body standing in the dust. Alexander makes his choice. He will not meet the Persian center head-on. Instead, he angles his phalanx to the right. The Macedonian line shifts. It's not a full rotation, but an oblique approach. The angle is subtle, but it changes everything. The dust rising from the Macedonian movement is immense. The morning air fills with it, a golden haze, a cloud that obscures and confuses. On the Persian side, commanders squint through it. What is Alexander doing? The angle makes no tactical sense, unless he's trying to avoid the center entirely. Darius watches from his raised position, surrounded by his generals and his bodyguard. This is the Persian king at the height of his power. Gold plates his armor. His chariot is drawn by white horses. He wears a diadem, a blue diadem, that marks him as the chosen of the god Ahura Mazda himself. Darius orders the cavalry on his left flank forward to cut off Alexander's oblique movement. If he can hit the Macedonian line from the side while it's shifting, the entire advance collapses. The Persian cavalry surges forward. Thousands of horsemen. The ground trembles. Dust becomes a wall, and Alexander's army stops moving. The phalanx holds its position. It wheels to face the charging cavalry. And here's where the genius becomes visible. The Macedonian troops are packed so densely, so tightly into their formations, that the cavalry charge hits them like waves crashing against rock. The Persian horsemen cannot break the line. They wheel away, they reform, they charge again. The Macedonian pikes, sarissas, extend forward in a bristling hedge that no horse will run into willingly. Riders die, horses scream, the cavalry retreats. The dust settles momentarily, and the Macedonian line hasn't moved an inch. But something has shifted. The Persian flank that committed to the charge is now exposed, weakened, and Alexander sees it. He sees the opening the way a hunter sees the moment a deer's guard drops. His reserve cavalry, the companions, his elite mounted unit thunder into the gap. On the Persian side, the second and third waves of cavalry crash forward to meet this new threat. The plain becomes a carousel of death, steel and blood and dust. The sound is a perpetual thunder now, spear and sword, the screams of men and horses mixing into a single horrifying note. Darius watches this cavalry battle unfold from his chariot. His king's eyes track the flow of the fight. He brought more cavalry than Alexander has soldiers, total, and yet, the Macedonian cavalry is pushing forward, step by step, through the dust and the blood. The Persian cavalry falls back. And now, finally, the scythed chariots charge. Like this video and hit subscribe button, please, because what's about to happen has never been seen before on any battlefield in human history. This is the moment Darius has been waiting for, the moment when Alexander's arrogance meets divine punishment. The chariots accelerate across the leveled ground. Those spinning blades catch the light. They're moving in formation, a dozen of them, then 24. The sound of wooden wheels, the snap of the leather reins, the terrible mechanical grinding of those blades. They're aimed directly at the gap Alexander has created in his infantry line. The Macedonians see them coming. The distance closes. 200 yards. 100. And then, Alexander's infantry does something that has never been done before. They stop looking at the chariots as weapons. They look at them as problems to solve. The men on either side of the gap spread their formation. They widen the lanes between their bodies just enough for the chariots to pass through harmlessly. The blades spin through empty air. The horses beneath the chariots have nothing to charge into. The drivers are suddenly sitting in a moving platform with no target, no formation to scatter, nothing to destroy. The chariots pass through the Macedonian lines like ships sailing through a channel. And as they do, the infantry closes in behind them. The drivers realize too late that they're surrounded, trapped. What was supposed to be a killing weapon becomes a death trap. Arrows find the drivers. Pikes thrust upward at the horses. The chariots slow. They stop. They become twisted, burning wreckage scattered across the plain, and the myth of their invulnerability dies with them. Darius sees this from his chariot. Sees his scythed chariots, the weapon he built his entire strategy around, turned into nothing but kindling. The Persian cavalry in the center is buckling. Alexander's companion cavalry has cut deeper into the Persian formation. And Alexander himself is visible now, not hidden in the phalanx, not protected by layers of infantry. He's riding at the front, his armor shining, his eyes fixed on one target. Darius sees him. The King of Kings recognizes the moment the gods shift their favor, recognizes it with the clarity of absolute certainty. The tide isn't turning. The tide has turned. All the cavalry in his army, all the soldiers standing on this plain, all the wealth of the Persian Empire cannot stop what's coming. Right now, as the Macedonian wedge formation tightens and pushes forward. Right now, as Alexander's armor, that divine brightness, cuts through the dust like a comet falling to earth. Right now, in this second, this is the moment empires die. Subscribe now, because in the next 30 seconds, you're going to watch the King of Kings break. You're going to watch an entire empire collapse. And you're going to understand why Alexander was feared by every power that came after him. Darius turns his chariot. The King of Kings flees the battlefield. He leaves his generals. He leaves his guard. He leaves behind the myth of Persian invincibility. He flees north toward Babylon, And as he does, his army feels it. The moment the god king abandons the field, the entire Persian force understands. This is over. The slaughter begins. The Macedonian phalanx sweeps forward like a scythe through wheat. Tens of thousands of Persian soldiers die in the collapse. They die running. They die fighting. They die in the dust. The ground becomes a charnel house. Blood pools between the stones. The smell of iron and smoke and death rises into the afternoon air. Alexander doesn't stop. The pursuit continues beyond the battlefield, into the darkness. The Persian army fragments. Units scatter. Commanders die. Officers take their own lives rather than face capture. By nightfall, over 100,000 Persian soldiers are dead. The Macedonian casualties, fewer than 1,500. Smash that like button if you just watched an empire die in real time. Because what you saw wasn't just tactics, it was the moment history pivoted forever. Its execution wearing the mask of military strategy. Darius runs for Babylon, but he won't stop there. He'll keep running, eventually fleeing to the borders of his own empire, hunted by his own generals. Within a year, one of those generals will murder him in cold blood. And the man who won't even be present for the killing Alexander will claim the Persian throne for himself. But what makes Gaugamela truly devastating isn't the numbers. It isn't the tactical brilliance, though it was brilliant. It isn't even the courage of Alexander himself, though that was undeniable. What makes Gaugamela the moment when empires die is this: Darius had everything. He had the numbers. He had the weapons. He had the geography prepared in his favor. He had the resources of the richest empire on earth. And he still lost. He lost because Alexander understood something Darius never did. Numbers don't matter if your enemy is willing to do what you will not. To risk what you will not risk. To stand in the dust with 47,000 men against 250,000 and believe, truly, absolutely believe, that he will win. That certainty, that terrible, burning certainty, that's what killed the Persian Empire at Gaugamela. Darius had everything except that. And because he didn't have it, he had nothing. Alexander would go on to conquer the known world. He would march his army to India. He would weep in a tent because there were no more worlds left to conquer. And then he would die at 32 in Babylon. Possibly murdered, possibly poisoned, the sources disagree. Leaving behind an empire that would fracture the moment he was gone. But on this day, on October 1st, 331 BC, on a plain near a small village called Gaugamela, Alexander did something no one believed was possible. He killed a god, and empires learned to fear him